Even though most of the high-profile UFAs have now signed, there's still a select few available for the taking. As we know, a large part of the free agency excitement is the trades that we as fans witness sprinkled in. In this video, we're going to discuss a slew of players who are either UFAs or on the trade block. But before we do, I'd like to quickly remind everyone to stay hydrated as summer is in full swing. And a great way you can do so is to stock up on Liquid IV. Recently, they launched a new line of products that are sugar-free for those of you who are trying to avoid sugar. Folks over at Liquid IV were nice enough to send me a package introducing me to the new products. I have to say, the White Peach was my ultimate favorite. To enjoy 20% off of your purchase and free shipping on their products, simply click my link below to stay hydrated today. And with that, here are 4 NHL players who could be on new teams very soon. While it has been known for quite some time that DeBrincat's future in Ottawa could be non-existent, the forward situation has become even more complicated. Currently a restricted free agent, DeBrincat still remains arbitration eligible. However, the hearing has yet to happen. This, among other reasons, has led NHL insiders to believe that GM Pierre Dorion's intentions are to find the best possible offer for the former 40-goal scorer. However, a couple of key moments in which a trade would have been likely to happen were the NHL entry draft and the first day of free agency, which are now in the rearview mirror. And according to Dorion, he's not going to take just any offer. We're not going to trade him for pennies on the dollar. We feel he's a really good asset, Dorion said. Therefore, Dorion's unwillingness to budge on an asking price is potentially why the Michigan native and his team are at a standstill. And to further paint a picture of turmoil between DeBrincat and his current team, a media-incited incident transpired here recently. According to an article published by the Ottawa Sun, DeBrincat's agent, Jeff Jackson, was painted in a bad light, giving the reader the perspective that the blame for a trade not happening was on Jackson's shoulders. Jackson later fired back, saying, "Agents and players don't make trades. That's the GM's job." According to NHL insider Darren Drager, the forward's demands, considering a new contract, are set on an 8-year deal valued at $70.8 million. DeBrincat wants a long-term extension, just not from the Ottawa Senators, Drager says. He'd prefer to play in the US, just for family reasons, and that's up to him. He's at a place in his career where he can navigate that path. We do know that previously the Ducks, Red Wings, and Stars reportedly had interest. However, since the contract value has leaked out, talks between interested teams have seemingly begun to stall. The latest team to reportedly show interest in DeBrincat is the New York Islanders. According to the Hockey News, the Islanders have been and still are involved in trade conversations involving DeBrincat. The article goes on to state that Jean-Gabriel Pageau could be the main piece that would help facilitate a DeBrincat acquisition. Knowing that we're now a week into free agency, the pressure to get DeBrincat moved and on his way has never been higher. It feels like not so long ago that Vladimir Tarasenko embarked on a new quest to join his longtime friend Artemi Panarin in the Big Apple. Tarasenko, who had up to that point spent his entire career with the St. Louis Blues, finally had his former trade request granted this past March. However, at the time, the forward was a pending UFA and would soon be on the hunt for a contract for the first time since 2015. Fast forward to the present, and Tarasenko has made a decent case for himself last season as he was able to record 50 points after 69 games played. After an unsuccessful testing of the waters this free agency, Tarasenko decided to fire his former agent to hire some new representation, as he elected to hire JP Barry and Pat Brisson to do the negotiating on his behalf from here on out. According to an article from The Athletic, the Carolina Hurricanes were showing immense interest in the former 40-goal scorer. However, despite making several offers, they haven't been able to find common ground with the Russian sniper. Interestingly, NHL insider Elliot Friedman reported that the San Jose Sharks, Nashville Predators, and Ottawa Senators have also shown interest as well. According to reporter Larry Brooks, Tarasenko has received multiple offers valued at $5.5 to $6 million AAV. However, after receiving those offers is when he changed agents due to the fact that he's set on receiving a new deal that's closer to $7.5 million a season. Knowing that he's no longer in his prime and isn't the same player he was when he previously cashed in years ago, this stalemate could indeed drag out into the dog days of summer. I think some of us may recall back before Brent Burns moved to Carolina, that at the time Mike Grier said he was open to moving either Erik Karlsson or Burns. However, last offseason, Burns appeared to be the more appealing player at the time due to the lower cap hit and a more productive season. Despite this though, coming into last campaign, Carlson made it his mission to prove doubters wrong. Having Burns gone gave Carlson even more of an opportunity to shine for San Jose and to be their number one guy on the back end. During his redemption arc season, Carlson was able to record a career high of 101 points after a full season's play, and as most of us know, this enabled the defenseman to capture his third Norris Trophy for his efforts. In result, Carlson has become the most appealing defenseman available for the taking this offseason. And it was amid the festivities in Nashville last month that Carlson left no doubt in reporters' minds as he voiced his desire to play elsewhere and for a winning team next season. Therefore, even though I'm sure some NHL GMs had already inquired about the price for obtaining Carlson, any that weren't sure of his availability were after that. However, in case you haven't been around for the worst contract series that I do on this channel, well, let's just say Carlson's contract overall hasn't been the greatest, as the defenseman's 8-year deal valued at $92 million hasn't been appealing to anyone except San Jose, of course, when it was signed. With an annual cap hit of $11.5 million that will be in effect until 2027, the contract without retention isn't one that any team is looking to add to their books. According to an article from the Hockey News, however, Grier is willing to retain less than 50% of Carlson's salary. It's definitely tough to move out salary, and we understand that. At some point, there'll probably have to be a little bit of a give on our side. But if people think we're going to eat 50% of his contract and all this type of stuff, it's probably not going to happen, Grier told Mercury News. This leads many spectators to believe that a third team could be recruited in order to help broker some of the salary to help facilitate the trade. It's believed that the Chicago Blackhawks or Anaheim Ducks might be interested if they were given the correct incentive. One of the frontrunners in the Carlson sweepstakes has been the Pittsburgh Penguins. Back when Kyle Dubas did his free agency presser, Dubas alluded to the fact that he was indeed considering the defenseman as his prime target. The Athletic's Josh Yeo wrote a compelling article that entailed the reasoning behind why bringing Carlson to the Steel City would make perfect sense. With Chris Letang, Sidney Crosby, and Evgeny Malkin's careers coming to an end in the near future, recruiting Carlson to be Letang's deep partner would give the Pens a huge offensive jolt. With the departure of Brian Dumoulin, the Pens are in need of a replacement. However, the dilemma has been putting together the right package for San Jose. The logical player to be moved is Jeff Petrie, who hasn't exactly worked out in the Burgh throughout his short stint with the team. Offering Mikhail Granlund, Jeff Petrie, and a nice sweetener just might be enough to at least get Grier to consider. If Pittsburgh can't make it happen, reportedly, the Carolina Hurricanes have also had interest. Lately, one of the hottest topics in Leafland has been the ongoing rift between William Nylander and his longtime team. The forward last season was able to make quite the case for himself when it came to seeking a raise this offseason, as Nylander was able to record 87 points after a full season's play. Even more impressively, 40 of those points happened to be goals as well, meaning that Nylander ended up tying Austin Matthews when it came to the amount of goals both players were able to notch. Granted, Matthews played fewer games, but this stat definitely is one reason as to why Nylander could make a case for receiving a fatter paycheck. As of late, according to NHL insiders, Nylander and his agent Louis Gross remain far away from meeting in the middle with GM Brad Treliving. With his last contract that paid him an average of $6.9 million a season began as an overpayment, simply due to the fact that the contract was pretty front-loaded. However, as time went, the contract was largely viewed as a bargain, considering that he was able to reach the 80-point mark in the last 2 seasons of it. Reportedly, Nylander is set on receiving $10 million a season on his new deal. While it doesn't take a genius to figure out that this is far from doable for the Leafs, there's another Canadian team that just might be able to make it happen. Interestingly, current Flame Jonathan Huberdeau was able to get the payday that he was seeking in Calgary last offseason. That was similar to what William Nylander is looking for today. And this could be largely due to the fact that most players lately haven't found Calgary as a desirable place to play. Currently, nothing but question marks have been swirling around players such as Elias Lindholm, Michael Backlund, and Noah Hanifin. as many have speculated that the pending UFAs may not be re-upping with the Flames. If this is the case, then trading away just 2 out of the 3 players would facilitate enough cap space to sign the 40-goal scorer. A few other teams that have close to or the exact amount of cap space in need for Nylander are the Seattle Kraken, Detroit Red Wings, and the Anaheim Ducks. In conclusion, while it's pretty hard to know where each of these players will end up for next season, it's going to be pretty intriguing to see where they end up. If you're new to my channel, I invite you to subscribe. And for those of you who are regularly consuming my content, do consider supporting me on Patreon. Plans start at just $1 a month and greatly help out the channel. In turn, you'll be privileged to monthly shoutouts, video previews, and unseen channel analytics. If you're interested, simply click the link below or in the upper right-hand corner to get started. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.